What's going on, man? Hey, what's up, Lump, man? Thank you for coming on the show with me, man.
Man, it's an honor, and it's really an honor because, as I was just saying off camera, I really it's an indefinite term, I don't like doing interviews because one thing I've learned is that the truth stands when opinions and facts fade. You know, people are entitled to their own set of opinions, but the truth is one of the few absolutes that we have, and you've always been straight down the line. So it's an honor for me to sit down with you, and that's for real.
Well, I'm glad you sat down with us, man. I've been reaching out to a few people, and they know who they are, and I've got some yeses, I got some no responses, I got some maybe laters, and it's ironic, you know, I started trying to do this almost over a year, about a year and a half ago.
And oh, wow.
I won't say no names, but somebody very close to me, I said, man, I'm starting a podcast. When you come on it, they said how much I'm paying. I was like, wow, man, I'm just starting. Says nothing's coming from it, but I want to do it. And then in the interim of asking a few people and scheduling problems and not being able to do it, and at that time I was on the road a lot. We was traveling, and it just wasn't happening. And next thing I know, Donnie popped up. And then it's like, I'm looking at Donnie, and then I'm seeing this person popped up, and then I'm saying, oh man, then I saw something say Rec was coming, and he was gonna do something, but I haven't seen one of his shows yet, but yeah. I know Rec said if he put it out there that he gonna do it, he gonna do it. Yeah. So I was like, well, it might be too late, and I threw it to the side like I do. I don't sit stagnant on something. If it ain't going, I just move on to something else because I got to keep that flow. Yeah. I learned that from Master P. Just keep it going. Flowing, keep it going. And then it was a while later, and Robert, I had told Robert about it, and he was like, I'll be your guinea pig, you know. He was like, I'll come on first. And I was like, okay, I'm going to get ready. But it was months and months later, and then just recently, I got to start shooting it, and Robert came on, and you know, and Charles, bro. And you know, Bang. I've got some people to say yes. Den was coming, but we got our times crossed up.
It's funny. I just talked to Den the other day because you know Den now is he's the one who started me on this health journey.
Yeah.
And you know, and we stayed at Fort Bend. He went to Dulles. I went to Willow Ridge, and then to see him go on and do the things that he did with Youngstar and with his label, and you know, kind of moving his catalog and keeping it current. But he's always stayed consistent. I saw when you see his before and after pictures, it's like, well, you see his before, you see his now pictures. It's like it can be done. But the one thing that I found is that consistency is key. And he's just like, when I talked to him the other day, I asked him about, well, man, what do you think about this? And he was like, man, I'm telling you, he said, Lump, that's good, but stay doing this right here. Yeah. He said, and I see you, you're looking good. So for me, you know, the ones, I said all that to say this, the ones who truly are going to show up, they're going to show up with no questions.
Yeah.
You know, you're going to need to give you know, what is it my old man used to tell me? Excuses don't count, results do.
Yeah.
You know.
Sound like somebody very close to me. She says that all the time.
Yeah, for real.
Don't even say that stuff. I'm tired of hearing that.
Yeah, man.
So it definitely happens, you know. Yeah, I remember back when I was battling and yo-yoing, and Den told me, man, you got to start eating that green stuff. That green stuff makes you go to the restroom.
Yep.
And I was like, you know, and then I met a vegan, and I was like, okay, I can do it. But it was hard for me because, you know, I never had ate vegetables until I was 50 years old.
Are you serious?
No. Oh, well, if you call, she says, yeah, because I ate corn.
Yeah,
and,
but
and
corn
sweet
is
peas.
no.
But I know no greens, no broccoli, no nothing.
If you give me a sweet pea right now, I will fight you, bro. I don't even eat sweet peas I used to really love shrimp fried rice. I know that rice is nothing but sugar, but I will fight somebody right now for some sweet peas. But Den told me the same thing. He was just like, bruh, you gotta, you know, keep the greens in it. Keep the greens in it. So yeah, that's matter of fact, spinach was what he was talking about. So yeah.
We you know, that's the meal now. So I've learned to embrace it a lot more. It's been a rough up and down battle, and me kicking on and screaming all the way, but you know,
I told you I got on
what
that boat, man, when I went on that cruise. It's called Festival of Seas Blacks.
I saw your tickets. I was like,
Yeah,
that
it was
nice.
Ronald Osley. Well, it was the Osley Brothers, Damon Williams, Babyface. Hey, man, I'm gonna be honest with you. Babyface has a show. So does Ron Osley. Well, the Osley Brothers have a show too. Ron Osley is 80 years old, 80 plus, like, and to see him still do what he does, it's incredible. I'm not gonna say he has the same voice, but what I will say is this: his performance is incredible, and he really knows when to put it on. Like just years of just being on the stage, he did his thing, and then Stokely was there from Mint Condition, and then Lavelle Crawford, and then Dougie Fresh. Oh man, Dougie Fresh did the white party, bruh. But the thing that I saw on the boat that really made me get serious, because I had to get serious, because man, my blood pressure was like 245 over 145.
Oh wow.
And I was literally a walking stroke, like a walking heart attack. And it got so bad, Doc, that same glasses that I have on right now, same lenses that I had, but it got so bad last year in October that I had to change the lenses. And my deal was, when they changed them out, because my sugar levels were so elevated, and it's literally everything that I'm putting in my mouth, that I had to get my new lenses. And I told the lady, I was like, I'm gonna keep these lenses because I'm gonna come back in 2 months and I'll be back. And she was just like, well, you didn't pay for those? I was like, yeah, I did. Well, your insurance? I was like, doesn't matter, discount, give me my lenses back. And bro, I went back in January, sugar levels decreased, able to put these back in here. But Russ, when I tell you, that scared me. And when I saw those people on those scooters and those walkers and those canes and opening up pill machines and eating, I was just like, you know what, bro? This ain't me, man. Like, I can't do this. Like, I don't want to be that.
Yeah.
You know, so that made me change and get a healthier lifestyle.
Yeah.
And like you said, it's hard though, because I think you're giving yourself a hard time. I don't really think you was kicking and screaming. I just think it's a learning curve.
I was kicking and screaming.
Well, that's because, you know,
I got the proof. I can give you the number. You can verify this is, I got the receipts on this. I was struggling. But you know, to see.
Pause for a second. Let's move the mic to your side.
Okay.
I hate to know this audio comes out bad. Just move it.
Okay. Oh shit.
Your little.
Okay. Like move it up here.
Here, I got you. Where is the little thing? You got it?
Yeah.
I hate to know this came out muffled.
Nah, man, we don't want these muffled.
So let's try this. Much better.
All right. We cool now?
Yes. We're running. We're still running. Go ahead, Russ.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I was definitely kicking and screaming. That's kicking and screaming, and definitely cheating on my new lifestyle at that time. And you know, I still struggle, but I'm blessed now that there's so much plant-based food.
Yeah.
And you know, and vegan food. And to me, I can't see going back. And even when I'll get an Impossible, which has some sugar in it, and we're not supposed to eat that. And I like Impossible.
I'm scared of it, bro.
I like Beyond, man.
I'm scared of Impossible. Beyond, I'm scared.
Man, they taste great. I could be a spokesman. If they want to date Jared, I could be it. Cause
wow.
I definitely love it.
You look good though, bro. But I'm gonna be honest with you, bro. You give me some watermelon, some lemon, some ginger.
Yeah, same thing. But
some vegetables, but man, I'll eat the fish. And I know you probably don't mess with fish, but man, look, I won't eat certain fish, but bro, I just feel better. Like today when I called you, I was just like, I won't be able to get my 4 miles in, but let me get 2 in before I get out here, you know, so, yeah.
It's, yeah, I haven't had fish in quite a while, because when we first, when I was making my change, I had fish still on the menu, and then it got cut out, and it didn't ever get brought back, but
wow.
I don't miss it, because fishless fish sticks, man, let me tell you.
Fish? Okay, we'll talk about that later, bro. Yeah, I'm not doing that, bro.
Fishless fish sticks man, I never have to eat another real fish ever. Fishless fish sticks, man, They got
Okay.
a turkey cutlets.
I
They-
don't like turkey.
They not turkey, they plant-based.
Nah, bro.
That's what it's called, man.
Oh no, sir! I'm not messing with none of that.
Man, go on over to Whole Foods. I'm not sponsored by Whole Foods, but if they want to send a check, they can. But go over there and, go through there and just try some of it, man. You'll be shocked. People,
All right.
it is definitely shocking. We tricked my son one time. He wanted a Whopper. So we
got an Impossible
We
Whopper?
got an Impossible and told him to wrap it in the Whopper. And it was so funny to watch him because I think he was like 16, my youngest, 16, 17. And he bit it and he was chewing and he paused. He was like, I taste something. Man, but this tastes good. And he went on and ate it. And then we was like, did you like it? He was like, yeah, it was good. And we was like, we told him what it was. He was like, oh, I knew something was up.
Yeah.
No, you didn't. But you could see he thought it, but he couldn't.
Couldn't tell.
It's not the exact, but I tell people, it's not exact, but you'll be surprised how good it is.
Yeah.
And for me, I mean, after all this time now, that's more real to me than the meat.
Than the meat,
I couldn't eat it. I mean, it's like, I like it. And then you can make everything. Even like if I go to Chipotle, they got sofritas.
They do. Yep.
I get sofritas. I don't get none of the other. You go to Mods, I eat they plant-based sausage. Whatever they made it out of, I don't know. But it's just a vegetable pizza with a little of that plant-based stuff on it. And for me, it works.
Yeah.
But it takes time.
It's time for me.
Charles
Like, I'm
was saying
cool.
the same thing. We met one day. We met at Sunshine's, and I was eating a Beyond Burger. He was like, "Man, I can't do it, Russ."
Now I ain't gonna lie. Man, rest in peace to Mr. Sunshine. But the black bean burger, I love the black bean burger. Now that I eat every day. Black bean burger, mixed kale, cause regular kale is hot. Mixed kale, spinach and mushrooms, and the bean threads. I've been eating that forever, and I like his lentil soup or his white soup. Like I eat that as well.
Man, the bean burger was actually my first vegan burger that I liked because we went to Sunshine's when I first met her, and we would she got me that with the potato French
Sweet
fries.
potato fries, yeah.
And I was like, oh, now this hidden.
That is good.
That
Yeah.
was hidden,
Yeah.
and it's still good. You got to work and do it, man.
Yeah.
But on another note, man, tell the world, man. Tell them, how you used to be the main promotion man in the whole city. I would say you was the man. You was doing the big jobs. You weren't coming around with all us. You was doing some stuff.
Yeah, I was blessed, man. I was blessed. Our mutual friend Jared Oliver, Willie Ridge Eagle, may he rest in peace. He started a record company, and he was cool with a man who raised me from when I was 18 years old, Floyd Clark, Mr. RU Game, Mr. Surround by Sound, the first big cousin to Quincy, Quanell, and Quentin. Y'all know him as Quanell Eggs, Q-Dog, and Toast. May he rest in peace. And Floyd was pretty much uncle, daddy, best friend, and running with Floyd. And if you know running with Floyd, what that means, I've just learned that with these radio and these podcasts, these platforms, I was blessed. I never really done any, let's just say my background was a little different.
Yeah.
And they started in transition into doing a record company called X-Bam Records. And come to find out at the same time that this was happening, one of my childhood friends who I grew up with in LA, I used to gangbang with, his name was Charles Temples. He owned Big Boy Records. He had an artist by the name of G Slim, but he had an artist who was starting to break out. His name was Mystical. So as I'm working with Floyd, they start the label, they get Bam on the label. They knew in Texas it was a conflict of interest for the labels to manage the artists at the same time, even though a lot of people did it anyway. But Floyd knew I could manage Bam. And he knew I could do management because they couldn't, and they could still trust me because we was all partners. Well, I started managing Bam, but I found out I didn't like management. Management is, back then, people thought managers were like a baby record label / consulting agency / promotions agency / banker / life coach. there was really no separation because, you know, the South was kind of catching up, whereas on the East Coast and the West Coast, they had more time in front of us when it came to the business. Well, I learned that I was a good promotions person. And as I began to grind, I was doing things of a promo man. I was going in the soundwaves with posters, trying to figure out how I could get my artists and stuff up on the wall. Bam was affiliated with the Killer Clan, with Street Military, which is Klondike Street. KB and Flea, of course. So I really started kind of doing stuff with a promoter and didn't really know what I was doing. But some of my friends that I would kind of grew up with, and I was in college, I was an RA for a guy named Sincere, and Sincere was cool with Cypher, and Cypher was cool with P2, and P2 was cool with Ace. They were all promoters, so as I was going into these stores, I was running into these people. And I just started getting good, but I only had one project. They had a lot of projects, and I didn't understand it. So as I began to get deeper entrenched into X-Bam's business with Bam, Jared and Floyd, and G-Rap and Bam were there, I really started learning the business, and then we were blessed because J.O. had the money and he began to invest in concerts, and on that concert thing, he had the Platinum Players Tour, and it was Too Short, it was Face, it was Bone, and they put Bam on there because Jared fronted the money for the tour. And they got on the tour, and I got on the tour with them, and we did like 5 cities and big cities too in the South, and they made some money on it because it was like club dates, and at this time Chuck was doing Mystical. So I hooked up with my homeboy named Deron Sams. You probably know Deron Sams, Chunky D. He used to be on KTSU.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And then he left KTSU with Lester Pace and Walter, but he used to work with my dad. And what happened was, I knew Deron knew radio, and at this time I'm figuring out, okay, part of this management thing is you got to kind of know radio, have relationships. So I asked Deron, I was like, Deron, who's the best street promoter in the city? Because this is what I'm doing. I explained to him what I just explained to you, and he was like, you need to meet Big D. I was like, who is Big D? And he was like, Daryl Jacobs. I remembered the name from KTSU, from Kids Jam. I remembered the name from that radio station that we had down here, the AM station that used to do all rap. I forgot the name of it. And he worked at Magic 102. Big D was big dude, and I met him. He told me to meet him at Jamaica. Big old fly dude. He walked into Jamaica. He told me to meet him there. He had 2 cute little girls with him. And there was a big old line at Jamaica. Tuesdays and Sundays at Jamaica. The line was long. And he was like, I was like, Big D? And he was like, you lump? I was like, yeah. He was like, come on. So I see this dude with all this swag. He had the backpack. He had the girls with backpacks. And they had a long line. And he just went straight in. I was like, wait a minute, man. You know, I like this big dude. So I was starting asking questions and bombarding him, and I just automatically took some of his posters and was like, you know, because Jamaica, you could put posters in the DJ booth. You had to get through Mark's Love and Luscious Ice and Fat to Carry, you know, all those dudes was DJing, and it was real cool. So Big D bumped into me that Sunday night. I never will forget it. And he just looked at me and he stopped me. He was like, look, man, you aggressive. And he said, you by yourself. He said, 1 or 2 things are gonna happen. He said, we can combine forces and we can bump heads in the streets. I really didn't understand what he was saying. He was like, so this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna teach you how to do this, man. He said, only thing I demand is that you just be loyal. I was like, cool. Big D showed me how to hustle. He gave me the game. Showed me how to handle records. And I started meeting people, and then J.O., we flipped back. They needed help with promotions for real, but I was just management. So I brought Big D in to help with Bam. And he was like, look, y'all don't know nothing about the music business. Y'all got a bunch of money. It ain't gonna work unless you truly understand how this money works. So we immediately went to BRE, Black Radio Exclusive, and it happened to be in New Orleans. So again, I told you about Mystical. So what happened was, my partner Chuck stayed in New Orleans, and that's what BRE was, which was Big Boy Records. So my partner Chuck, who had Mystical, he had Mystical, Black Menace, G Slim, Tim Smooth, Ghetto Twins, Partners in Crime, Insane, Sporty T. It was basically, and a lot of people don't give Chuck the credit for this, but before No Limit and Cash Money popped,
Big boy.
Big Boy Records was there, and Mr. You know, Robert can tell you that Chuck was making millions of dollars, literally. Like, I'm not, you know, sometimes you see on these podcasts, dudes get to fabricating these numbers. But Mr. Gilliman could actually co-sign this. Chuck literally consistently made some really good money through Southwest Wholesale. So what happened was, I met Chuck. Hadn't seen Chuck in years, because when I got in trouble in LA, they sent me to Houston. Chuck had gone back to New Orleans, and my partner Daryl D Double, he went from LA to Northern California. Well, that being said, I met Chuck and I met the whole boot camp clique. I met Mystical, and Mystical was hot at that BRE, and Rap A Lot, Virgin New Tribe had the Loonies, and they had I Got Five on it.
Yeah, I remember that.
Bruh, the two people who broke out of that conference was Mystical and the Loonies. One thing about Black Radio Exclusive with Mr. Sidney Miller, may he rest in peace, is that those conferences were really there to show us who was next and then how to be next. So, mind you, Chuck said he needed help with Mystical. So, Big D was just like, look, man, I can help you, but it's gonna take a budget. And that's when I found out what it was. So, Big D literally looked out for me, and he wound up showing me how to do street promotions. Again, I'm doing management, but now I'm really indoctrinated in the street promotions. And when me and Big D, we started, and you know, it's two alpha males, we bumped heads, and Tony Draper looked out for me. Tony Draper is a cat who I went to high school with. He went to Willow Ridge, and he had Suave House. And then with Suave House, Big D and Draper, they kind of bumped heads a little bit, so Draper gave me Suave House. That was my first major account. I'm still managing BAM. I'm working Big Boy, me and Big D, we on the road doing all the Chuck's work. And so I worked independent records because all my friends who I talked about earlier, they had all the major accounts. So all I could get was like the independent labels.
Yeah.
So since I had the independent labels, I was making money and making noise. And I was like, Lord, if you give me the ability to just handle this street stuff, handle these records, I'll leave all of this street stuff that I was doing, this illegal stuff that's gonna get me put in jail, I'll leave it alone. Yeah. Because then Floyd wound up getting in trouble. And I can speak on it now because my homeboy did his time and came home. I started working records, and Tony gave me that first record. He gave me my first account. So now the record labels, the major labels are like, who's working this stuff from Relativity? And then it was like, after I got Relativity, I got Columbia. Dude named Wok was over there. Wok and I forgot the other guy's name, but Wok was like, who's doing this? It was Wok and Hawk, because his name was Hakeem. And Hakeem found me first, and he was like, you been working Suave House? And I was like, yeah. And he was like, how would you like to work for Columbia Records? I was like, how much y'all paying? Because I still had a street mentality. And he was just like, well, we pay you per record. I was like, how much y'all paying per record? And he was like, $1,500 a month. I was like, you know, again, I'm coming from the streets. I just graduated college, but I'm coming from the streets. So I was like, $1,500 ain't no money. He was like, no, that's per record. I was like, how many records y'all got? He was like, anywhere from 6 to 10. I was like, so I get paid $1,500 a month per record? And he was like, yeah. I was like, yeah, send them records on.
It got better, didn't it, when you did that math real quick?
And then it was cool, man, because then when I started working that record, then Lyle came, OJ Wedlaw. OJ went to Prairie View, but he's from New York, but his mom used to drive in HISD. So he looked out for me. But the killer was, I met somebody that I love to death, man. His name was Mr. James Alexander. James Alexander is the original player from the Parquets. Happens to be the father of Jazzy Faye.
Oh, wow.
So he works for Selecto Hits. So again, working for these independent companies, they had independent distributors. So as a result, he was like, hey man, I got these boys, man. These boys, man, now some people think they're devil worshippers, man, but 3-6 Mafia, man. He said, baby, can you go put these pictures up? I'm gonna send you some posters. He said, now look, go put the posters up, take a picture, and send me the camera, send me the pictures back, and I'm gonna send you some money. So I was like, okay, cool. Like I'd already been doing this. So now, the one thing that I did learn is that I never told what record company what other accounts I had.
Yeah.
Because I couldn't get the majors, which was consistent money, but I can get the independent money. So I started working these records. By this time, hey, Russ, when I tell you, I said, Lord, again, if you give me an honest hustle, I'll leave the street stuff alone. And then Floyd got locked up, and I was like, oh, sweating like bullets, because if he just says my name, I'm sitting next to him for 10 years.
Yeah.
Like a man, when I tell you I love this man to death, bro didn't utter my name. He did his 10 like a gangster, you know?
Yeah.
And I love Floyd for that. So when that happened, I just thank God for the ability to be able to work these records. But the part that I'm kind of skipping over is the fact that Big D was showing me how to work these records, but we had kind of fallen out. Again, alpha males. And had we stayed together, man, we probably could have took over on the promotion then. But I was blessed to be able to work these records, man, and get these accounts. And while I was managing BAM, I met Screw.
Yeah.
Because I had taken the record that BAM had, and I understood it, but I never met Screw. But the way that my world collided was, it was blessing. It was a blessing because Quincy and Toast will be at Surround by Sound. So I got a chance to meet Quincy, Quan. I met them at Woodson. That's the crazy part, because I went to Woodson for 6 weeks before I moved to Waller. And because I went to Rose Elementary when I first got down here, then I went to Woodson. And so I knew Quincy and them then, but you know, Quincy, street legend, street general. Quan, he was, and then he went on to do his thing with the Nation. And then Toaster got killed in 92, 7/17/92 to be exact. It was a couple of days before my birthday. I never will forget it. I was still in college. As a matter of fact, I was a sophomore in college. Well, I had met Screw because of BAM. I took BAM's record and I slowed it down myself, and I named it the Screw version. And BAM was like, "No, man, you can't do that." And I was like, "What you mean?" He was like, "Man, Screw is a person. He's not a music, just the music. He's a person." And I was like, and I thought about it, and I was like, damn, you know, that does make sense. So we had done this wax, and BAM was already mad because Luscious Ice and this dude named Storm, they had did a remix for Eyes Open, because Eyes Open, which was BAM's first single, it was rough, it was grimy. Matter of fact, that whole record is a classic now, you know what I'm saying? But
yeah, that Rough Bible 1.
Yeah, Rough Niggas Bible, Rough Zagging Bible. We couldn't say niggas, so we said zagging, we spelled it backwards. And G-Rap, he produced it, in, which is Flea's brother from Street Military. Black Cat did the artwork, man, he rest in peace. It's funny, I keep saying rest in peace to all these people,
Man,
bro.
a lot of people gone, man.
Bro, Black Cat died at his computer, man, working.
Man.
Well, that being said, I understood what BAM was talking about. So I said, dog, let me meet this DJ Screw. I heard the music at Surround by Sound, because I was at Surround by Sound because I showed the box at 17 years old how to do the first car show. 17 years old, that big Los, that's when it was the Los Magnificos car show. I knew Joel and Noel, like the brothers who started it from Los Magnificos. Like
Yeah,
I knew them because me from being from California, I liked cars.
Yeah.
So I showed them, we got a lot at U of H, we got these tents. Floyd was cool because he had Surround by Sound with Guy from Street Dreams. So we was able to put this thing together, and we was doing stuff with Black Cat, but Black Cat got busy, and Troy from Shortstop was cool with Floyd because they all grew up in the same section.
Yeah.
So Troy told us about Pen and Pixel. So we went over there to meet Sean and them, and they did, like my first flyer, it was a 63 Impala, Surround by Sound. It was called the Shining Show. And we did the first car show over there. And by that, Quincy, Quan, and Toast, I'm hearing this music, and I was like, why is this damn music slowed down? Why are these trucks rattling like this? Like, you know, I'm from California, homie. Like, you know, we like tight bass and we low riders. I wasn't used to them thick wires. And my cousin Sean, he was down here. He had came to Surround by Sound. He was like, "Hey, cuz, why them wires so thick, cuz?" And Pat was in there, and he was like, "Cube came down here, man, and Cube was ready, man. Cube like these vitamin size and this candy paint, them thick ass wires." He was like, "Hey, man, Cube said that because he was in y'all town, bro. But them thick wires," he said, "you bring that on the show, you can get laughed off the show, cuz that ain't what it is." He was like, "They clean, but them thick wires, cuz, and then y'all rolling on mustard and mayonnaise." And Corey and Blunt and Pat looked at him, And he was like, it was like mustard and mayonnaise. He was like, yeah, them Vogue tires, that's mustard. You see the little yellow line and then mayonnaise, the white one. So Sean is back there, him and Pat, they kind of going back and forth. You know, it's hot in the back. Corey got his car back there, he got his slant back there. I think Gerald had a car back there. Stick may have had a car back there. But anyway, he was like, yeah, man, you know them thick wires. He said, well, in Houston, the elbows, and in Cali, they dating.
Yeah.
And then we hear it on 3 in the morning. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I think about how God literally put me in that type of position to manage BAM, to be taught by Big D, Tony Draper giving me my first major account. Because of that first account, which was Columbia, helping Matthew Knowles, Beyonce's dad, clear. Destiny's Child had a song called Do You Really Wanna? And it was Master P's Free Codes. Jermaine Dupri did the beat. Matthew knew that he had to clear it, so he came to me. I was the Columbia rep. He met me at Caravana. And he was like, Lump, is there any way that we could get this cleared? And because of that, me helping him, Columbia asked me to go to London and Amsterdam with the girls, with Destiny's Child. So it was almost like the perfect storm for me. Like, I was blessed, and then you had your spot. You know, I knew about you because, you know, here's the thing. To be in this music business, you got to love it. You can't like it.
Yeah.
You see what it brings, so some people get into it because of the money that it brings. I did it because I love the music.
Yeah.
I never will forget one of the first times I met you. You had a book. You had like a composition book, and you had everything wrote out.
Yeah.
Everything was wrote out. Everything was there. Like, I knew you because it made sense to me. Like, I had to get the opportunity to know the brother who had UGK, you had DJ Screw, you had half of the Soft Rock Coalition on your label, but yet still I was trying to figure out, like, how come nobody really talks about this dude? Or like, I had no idea, because Floyd is the one who had Brad Scarface first. Don't nobody talk about that. They talk about Troy,
Yeah.
they talk about Jay, but they don't talk about Floyd and Robert Ina, who had, Rob used to work with Floyd, and he was the one to do the music side, and Floyd had Brad first. That's just, you know, can't nobody, facts are facts, you know.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of time in this business, what happens is people don't like it when the original people were around who can tell the first story.
Yeah.
You know, nobody likes telling that story. They like telling that story once they get padded and then once the money is good. But I remember when I literally left Circuit City to do promotions because my homeboy believed in me. And it gave me the ability to meet Floyd, who turned me on to X-Bam, who I met Face. I knew Face from high school at Willow Ridge. I remember when Brad used to be at Willow Ridge with a Jerry curl and a bomber jacket saying he was gonna be the coldest rapper. And he did.
Yeah.
But then the thing that really helped me, where it comes back to you, is that you had the spot that everybody wanted to go to. Like, everybody wanted to go to the flea market. Everybody was going to King's. Even though you had all these black independent retailers, it was something about being able to go to the flea market, going in the hood, and me being able to put up posters. And I tried to have some fly displays. And I know when I first walked in there, I just remember you having glossies of everybody from MC Search to Master P, the first stuff. You even had stuff from Big Boy Records in there. You had glossies from everybody because everybody wanted to be a part of that, because they knew that, you know, we might not get you platinum, but we gonna get you your start to get you the platinum and gold. Remember we used to get the Billboard magazine?
Yeah.
You see the circle, it was gold. You see the pyramid, it was platinum. And then you see to the first, second, or third power where it was platinum 2 times. It all started with black music in the black music scene. And I was able to go in there, and I was just smart because I was a street dude. Even though these glasses in this conversation sounded California, I knew that if I took a sticker and put this same logo that I still got right now, yellow sticker,
logo.
Put it on the display with my number on it, so if I wasn't there, somebody could contact me.
Yeah.
And that's how I got a lot of accounts, because the people at the major labels was like, I just had BAM, now I had Big Boy. So now I had Mystical, I had Partners in Crime, I had the Ghetto Twins, I had Black Menace, I had G Slim. Then I wound up getting Columbia, that was a major label. And then everybody came. So after a while, Russ, I wound up getting every major label except for Def Jam because Ace had it. And I didn't get Atlantic because I forgot who had Atlantic. And then, you know, I just stayed consistent and I knew I couldn't make all the money. So I started hiring people.
Yeah.
And that's when it started happening for me. But, you know, I gave up a lot. Like Houston, it was a live remote every night of the week. So I was out every night. I gave up a lot personally so I could succeed professionally. And then I didn't want to go to jail because I watched my homeboy go do 10. Then I watched Big D get locked up. Yeah. So it was like the people who really gave me my foundation, I saw them tell me not to do what they were doing. And they kept doing what they was doing and they went to jail. I was like, look, man, I'm not going to jail, bro. Yeah. If I miss jail from gangbanging in LA and the Lord let me get out the street from doing urban street pharmaceuticals, I'll say that, then I would be a dummy as a college educated man with 2 degrees, now I got 3, to go do something stupid. Bro, I love music. So, you know, that's how I got all of those labels. And I didn't try to befriend artists. Like, I just let my work speak for me, you know, and I never, you know me, no matter what you saw me do, I always came to your store. Even if I hired somebody to do retail, I would always come back behind them because I love making displays because that was my niche. My niche was I can make a display real cool. I can go talk to radio. I was doing the work of a regional and didn't even realize it. Yeah. But as long as that money came in every month, shoot.